everyone, my name is Sophie and welcome back to my crafting channel. In today's video I am going to be doing another draw to sculpt where I take a 2D drawing and I make it into a 3D sculpture. So today's character is gonna be Umbreon from Pokemon. It's a little black dark Eevee evolution, I think it is. And I'm so excited to do this. Like, I love doing Eevee evolutions. So I am going to have so much fun. I've got such a mad idea for it. Like, I know that he's all nice and smooth, especially on his tail and ears, but I really want to make it so that he's fluffy. He's really fluffy on his ears and tail, but make the rest of him sort of smooth. Nice and smooth, except for his rings. I want to make his rings... I either want to drill into the sculpture and make, like, sort of holes for the rings and then put resin in, or I'm going to just paint them on and put glitter. I don't know how I'm feeling about it, so we're just going to see. We're going to see. I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to start with the armature, and I'm going to quickly go through that, and then I'm just going to show you how I make Umbreon into a sculpture. It's so exciting. So let's get to it. Like with all of my sculptures, I'll start off with an armature, which is the most important part in my opinion. If your armature's wrong, then your sculpture will probably be wrong too. So to make the armature, I first looked at a side view of Umbreon on Google Images. This was the best one that I could find that had like a decent side view on it. I took this image, made it a little bit less opaque in Word, and then I printed it out to the size that I wanted. Whenever you print out a picture for an armature, whatever size it is on the paper is normally around the same size it's going to be for your sculpture. So next I drew in a simple skeleton, drawing in sort of the spine and the legs and sort of the bits where the wire's going to bend or where it's going to sort of connect to each bit. I do have a more detailed armature video on my channel, and basically I just use floristry wire, kitchen foil and masking tape. I've made the tail separate to the body, but I think this might have been a little bit of a mistake, and you'll see why later in the video. If I did this sculpture again, I would definitely have the tail sort of connected to the spine wire and not just on its own where I have to stick it in later. And you'll see why, you will see why. Now that the armature is all done, I use liquid Sculpey to make the clay stick better to the masking tape. I think it's called liquid Sculpey. It's called something Sculpey. I've had this bottle for so long, all the writing's sort of rubbed off and all the labels have sort of disappeared somewhere, I don't know. I always like to start off my sculptures with the body, and I use my pasta machine to get a consistent thickness, and then I'll just cut sort of like the square that I've got into little strips that'll fit on the body and on the bits that I need to on the sculpture. I don't worry too much on how the body looks, sort of I just need to get clay on it first, and then after I've baked it and everything, I'll then add more clay to it and I'll build up from like the other parts of the body, so like the legs and the back legs and the head and the neck, it'll all sort of like build up. If I make the body how I want it to begin with, it'll end up being too bulky and too big. So once I'm happy with the body, I'll cook it in the oven for around 15 minutes on a lowish heat. I normally do about 100 degrees centigrade, I think it is, but make sure that you test your oven first as they're all different. I've used a few different ovens in my time and some of them are absolutely fine, and others, you know, I'll get moon spots, or I'll get something will be wrong when I take it out and I don't know why, so make sure that you test your oven first. But my general rule of thumb is when you're pre-baking, so when you're baking each part of the sculpture before it's actually finished, is to do it on a very low heat for around 15-20 minutes. With the legs, I'll use a long strip of clay that sort of is the same length as the leg, and then I'll wrap it around the wire and then use this silicone nail art tool to sort of smooth it out and make it into the shape that I want it. So for the paws, I'll get my scalpel tool and I'll just cut into the little toes of Umbreon, and then I'll cook him for the same amount of time that I did last time. Honestly, pre-baking and baking each part is an absolute game changer when you're making sculptures. It stops you from ruining what you've already done, so accidentally holding it wrong or, you know, dropping them or something like that, or getting dust on them. It's an absolute game changer. Someone said once, and I can't remember who they were, what they said is literally like saving your progress. And it's so true, it really is. Onto the back legs, which are pretty much the same as the front legs, except you got to start building up from sort of the bum. You got to build that up. Yeah, I'll get like a thicker piece of clay and I'll smooth it so it's like nice and round. It's always a good idea to look at four-legged animals and see how their hind legs actually connect to their bodies and their tails. For some reason, I've got a mind block of how their back legs will connect underneath the tail. I don't know why, but I just for some reason can't get it, and it's always difficult trying to figure out how it looks, but we always tend to get there in the end. So with the tail, I'm just going to wrap it in clay and then I'll save it for later. So now it's onto the head. So again, I start off with the liquid Sculpey to bond the raw clay to the armature, and also it helps to bond it to the neck of the sculpture. Oop, I seem to have skipped most of the how I did the head. Basically, I just sort of made like the head as like a ball, like a round ball sort of shape on the head. And then I added the muzzle bit, so just a little tiny bit. And I just used me silicone tool and rolled it to make kind of like that dog shape. For the eyes, I used something called, I'm going to say this wrong, cabochon eyes. You can get a load of them on Amazon and eBay, honestly. I think I got 100 pairs of them, or 50 pairs of them for like £7. So sometimes things just won't look right, so I decided to put in larger cabochon eyes in instead of the smaller ones that I've used, and then I just pushed them into the head where I wanted them to go. With Umbreon, I tried to look for this really cool red looking pair, which I think looks exactly the same as Umbreon's eyes, so on to a winner. When you first put these eyes into the sculptures, they always look like dead surprise. I'm going to add a bit of clay around them to make up the kind of like the eyelids and their brows, and it also will give them some kind of emotion. Well, I say emotion, I don't think my sculptors have much emotion, but that's what I'm going for. So with this clay, I'm really going to try and get that kind of cat eye shape that Umbreon has on the pictures. With the ears, I'm literally just going to make a kitchen foil armature, and then I'm going to wrap some clay around them and just see how they're going to fit onto the head. With my nail tools, I'm just defining around the eyes and making the mouth and the nose. When I was looking at Umbreon, I kind of thought that he looked a bit grumpy. So I'm going to mould the upper eyebrows downwards to sort of give him that stern, grumpy look. To attach the ears to the skull, I just used floristry wire sort of inside and then tried to put liquid Sculpey around it so that the ears would kind of connect more to them. Okay, so I've done the ears and I've done his head, which has taken forever, but it's done now. I think the ears look pretty fun, so now I'm going to try and bake him, but the ears kind of flop down, and I know they'll flop down when they're baking, so I kind of need something to keep them like that, but I don't have a tray deep enough to sort of put him on his back. I don't know, I'll have to try and find something. But yeah, because I want his ears to sort of flop down so that they bake like that, and then obviously, when I turn it over, they'll be more up instead of more down, because they're more down and I want them more up. So yeah. Right, got me tray, which is obviously not deep enough, but I figured out how to keep them upside down. I have another sculpture which I've already baked. Well, yeah, he's baked. He's not finished, but he's baked. So look at this, and then I can put him upside down on him. Let's hope they don't fuse together like some kind of Siamese twin. I think that'll go. I hope that'll go. If this gets pulled off, I will be so happy, but who knows, with sculpting and baking, it might come out completely wrong. His ears might snap off. I don't know. We'll give it a go and see. No, the ears, they cracked after baking, no. Oh well, I've had this quite a few times. It's pretty easy to fix like a cracked sculpture. All I did was sort of added them together, and then I used a little bit more liquid Sculpey, and then I added raw clay into the cracks, trying to smooth out as much as possible. So this sculpture took quite a long time to do, and when I looked back at it, I thought that the paws looked a little bit meh. So I've padded them out a little bit more, which is how I do paws, like more so now than I used to do. It's another good thing for pre-baking as well, because like with a sculpture you can kind of leave it for ages, and you won't get that horrible dry clay. Like I find if I leave a sculpture that I haven't baked for a while, when I come back to it the clay's dry and it'll crack and you'll kind of have to start all over again. So that is another good reason why you should pre-bake all your sculptures. Again, looking back, I thought that his chest looked a little bit bare, so I'm going to add some fur to it. Honestly, all of my sculptures, If you need it to pad it out, just add a little bit of fur. You can never go wrong. Okay, so he's all baked, and I've got his baked tail, and I'm gonna make a hole in his bum so I can stick the tail in. I'm hoping that it'll look okay. I don't know. We'll see. Right, I've got my little USB drill. I love this drill. It's so good. It's so small and so tiny, and it's got no wires. It's the best thing ever. Right, let's make a hole in his bum. Ta-da! And it's raining black clay as well. Let's see if it fits in. Hey, look at that! It fits! Okay, now I've just got to glue it in, clay it up. I'll be good to go. So the tail cracked as well, so I just did the same thing that I did to the ears when they cracked, you know, sticking in clay and smooshing it out. Honestly, this sculpture, I can't even tell you how many times these have come off. But we are going to get there. I am going to make sure that they fit perfectly and that they'll be on there, you know. I thought that the tail and the ears looked a little bit bland, so I started making fur for them as well. I had no idea how this would turn out, and halfway through, I was sort of worried that the sculpture would be top heavy, but you know what, I think everything worked out in the end. You know, good idea, worked out, we're great, we're good, we're fine, everything's fine. First I baked all of the black bits, and then I cleaned everywhere before starting with the yellow clay. Honestly, keeping that yellow clay is an absolute nightmare after using black or any dark colour. I would suggest, if you can, always start with lighter colours first when dealing with clay. I don't know why, but like clay gets everywhere. Black, absolutely everywhere. And if that yellow even so much as sniffs a bit of black, you've got horrible dirty yellow coloured clay. I'm having so much trouble with this here. It keeps falling off. Probably because I only used a bit of glue on it, and then when you cook it, it tends to fall off anyway. So I'm gonna stick some metal in there, and also in the tail because there's a bit of a crack. So I'm gonna rip his tail off, rip his ear off, and attach them better. I use my little drill to try and get a hole big enough to fit some wiring, strengthen it and reinforce the ear. Hopefully it won't fall off again, but we'll see. Okay, so I'll put some Gorilla Glue on it. That takes forever to set. It doesn't set like straight away like super glue. So I'll keep it like that overnight, and then I can just put some clay on it and hopefully fix it. Hopefully. Okay, so I've put some Gorilla Glue and it's dried, so hopefully it won't fall off again. I don't know if it will. If it won't, we'll just have to see. But Gorilla Glue should be good enough to keep it on. We'll have to see when I put it in the oven, see if it melts off. This tail, I'm just going to put that on some liquid Sculpey, see if that works. If not, then I'll take it off and use some Gorilla Glue on it. Yeah, now we're just going to do all these little black fur, we're going to do and the rest of it's here. I don't know how well or how bad it's going to look, but we're going to see how it goes, what it looks like. Something else I've noticed, but this is about black clay in general. It's really difficult to see any features on the camera. I don't know why. It's like it's just dark. It's like my Anubis one. He's just very dark and you can't really see much on him, but he doesn't look that black in real life. It's very odd. There's a lot of shadow. I think it might be my camera work. Not very good at it. If you can tell. Oh, I'm so excited when I get to open some new clay. I got this one, Fimo Soft. I don't know what they're doing with this new, what would you call it, recipe? What would you call clay? Recipe? No, that sounds wrong. That sounds like it's for food. What would you call it? New? I can't think of the word. I'm going to call it recipe. Whatever they've done differently from this one, from the old ones. This is amazing. It's so soft. It's like, it actually says what it is on the tin. It's so nice and soft. I'll see if I can find an older one. So like I've got these two. This one is an old one. This one's professional as well, so probably that's not very fair because the professional one is rock hard. I don't really like the professional one, to be honest. Okay, so we've got this one. It's got like the soft on it, and then we've got that one which has got the soft on it, but this is so much harder than this. Like this, you can feel it squidging, but this one, no. This one, when I open this, I've got to condition it so much. Got to put it through the pasta maker, got to make it nice and soft. It kills your hands and it crumbles. If you leave it for a little bit, it just crumbles and it's a mess and it's just difficult. Same with the professional. But this black soft, oh, whatever they've done it right. I'm so happy. I can't tell you how happy I am. I don't have to spend like 20 minutes conditioning a piece of clay. I love it. It's weird though, because from this packaging it doesn't look as good. Well, I personally don't think it looks as good. Especially not with that red soft thing going there. It looks like for kids, but nah, you did well. Whatever this is, well done. Anyway, let's get on back to sculpting. Going off track with how happy I am over soft clay. Well, hey. Oh, what am I doing? One he is done, which is, you know, I don't know what to think of it. I don't know if I want to continue doing this. Well, I'll have to do the other ear. It's odd. I don't know what it's going to look like when it's finished. It looked kind of like an artichoke, to be honest. Oh no, what have I done? Oh well, I'll just continue. We'll see what happens. Alright, I'll do his tail next. Then we'll give him a bake and then I can do the other one. Because if I don't bake him, I'm going to end up ruining this ear because I'll end up just, you know, and his tail are now all baked, and thankfully the Gorilla Glue seems to have done the job because his ear hasn't fallen off. Yay! Fantastic! So now we're going to just do the other ear. Okay, so the ears are both done. He looks a little bit like Einstein. I don't know, I'm just getting that feeling from him. Little lines, like, you can't even see his eyeballs, it's so dark. Slowly looking like Umbreon. It looks nothing like Umbreon, I don't know what I'm saying. It's got the same colours at least. Oh, what have I made? Oh well. So for Umbreon's yellow rings, I used acrylic paint and then I topped it off with some glitter. Because why not? Everybody needs a little bit of glitter in their life. Anyway guys, so that is it for my video of my Umbreon sculpture. Here he is, he's all finished. He looks so much better than I was imagining. Like, honestly, halfway through this sculpture I just wanted to give up because his ears kept falling off, his tail kept falling off, his face, I don't know what it was about his face, but it seemed too big. But with the ears, it sort of like, what's the word, balanced him out. So I really like him. I really think he came out well. He does look a little bit odd with the fluffy tail and ears, but I really think that it's just added stuff to him. And he's quite big as well. Like, I wasn't expecting him to be this big. So I'm really happy with him. And I'm really excited to keep going with this draw to sculpt sort of idea of sculpting cartoons or people's characters. If you guys have a picture that you want me to do, or you have something that you want me to sculpt, then just send me a message with the picture and I'll see if I can fit them in and see if I can start sculpting things like that. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment in the section below, and I hope I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye guys.